Hello class, welcome to week 3. This is Sister Higgins, and I hope that last week as we read Leadership and Self-Deception that you were able to find some aha moments for yourself and recognize how you yourself can sometimes be in the box. And I really enjoyed reading through your discussion boards and seeing the different examples that you gave. And so many of them I could identify with. So I think all of us can find ourselves in the box at different times in our lives. So this week we're going to be talking about the theoretical perspectives on conflict. And I like this graphic that it shows two people and how they might think that they're communicating something very clearly, but if they're not taking the time to think about it, it can become all garbled. And this can happen a lot, and this is oftentimes what happens with conflict, is if we're not taking the time to really think about what we're saying. And also we have to take into consideration that each of us have a different lens on how we perceive conflict and we perceive communication. So, and Brother Bean talks about this in his podcast, which I strongly recommend you take the time to read this week. So, again, in Canvas, in the course, you're always going to see the introduction, like you'll see in the bottom. And I know it's small, but I wanted to just do a quick screenshot so you know what to look for. Make sure you're reading the introduction as well as the outcomes and competencies each week. It kind of shows you what the goal is for the week and what to expect. Now, your capture, I want to make sure I put this in your grading feedback for both assignments last week, but make sure that you recognize that the capture format changes this week. It's significantly different. It's an actual professional format that helps you to really be able to retain and apply the information that you're reading. And the great thing about this is you'll be able to use these capture assignments on your midterm as well as your final. So please make sure that you're taking the time to listen to the podcast from Brother Bean who talks about the capture format as well as the example that's provided in the lesson. Now, the Arguers as Lovers article. This is an amazing article that will be referred to throughout the rest of the semester. There will be questions about it on both of the tests. So it's very important that you understand the concepts in this article. However, it is very descriptive and it uses analogies related to domestic violence, but particularly sexual violence. And for me, having a social work background, I wanted to make sure that we had a trigger warning for the last couple of weeks to address this. So if any of you have been victims of sexual violence or domestic assault and or it has closely touched your life, please feel free to discuss it with me so that you feel like you're prepared to be able to read the article. All right, so here's your weekly to-do list. Again, this is in Canvas. I just want to make sure that you're looking over what all of your assignments are for this week. There are quite a few assignments, so I want to make sure you are prepared for it and that you plan accordingly. So if you have questions or anything, let me know. And then I recommend that you read the article and then watch the videos. It'll make more sense so that you can understand the concepts better. And then I would just recommend that you look at the coming soon. This kind of just helps you prepare for what's coming in week 4. So if you have time, I would just recommend that you look at this. All of these have just been screenshots from what is already in Canvas. So if you have questions or anything like that, please let me know. Again, my job, I feel, is to be able to give you the tools to succeed, and your job is to be able to use those tools to succeed. So if you have questions about these concepts, I have seen, especially as it comes to this week with the Arguers as Lovers, a lot of these concepts apply to every area of our lives when it's dealing with conflict. And we have to remember, you're going to do a survey this week that you're going to be asking people conflict is like, and then what they think conflict is like. And it's important for us to understand that conflict itself is not negative. It's how we handle conflict that can be positive or negative. And I see this in my job, having been a social worker, but now working in human resources and dealing with personnel investigations as well as employee complaints. And it really is how you handle conflict, and that everybody perceives circumstances and conflict differently. So it's up to us to determine how we handle that conflict. So if you have any questions, please remember my office hours are on Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m., but you can always text me or call me. I do work full time, so texting is usually the best, or feel free to email me, whatever is best for you. But just remember that I'm here to give you the tools to succeed. Thanks, and good luck this week.